Thank you all for coming today for this special occasion. I'd like to welcome our honored guests that are here with us today. Representing the town of Wappinger is Bill Beal, County Historian Will Tatum, New York Assemblyman Emil Beam, Representative Kayla Joey Cavazzini, Town Historian, County Legislator, member of the Historical Society, Randy Ross, who is president of the Friends of Spook Hill, Angela Bettina and Al Casella, also town councilman. I think that's it. I hope I said Angela. And welcome to all of our local residents. The Wappingers Historical Society is honored to receive this Legends and Lore grant from the Pomeroy Foundation. Roadside markers bring attention to the varied and rich history of our area. A representative from the Pomeroy Foundation was unable to be here, but asked that I read this letter at the ceremony. Okay, congratulations from all of us at the William Pomeroy Foundation on the dedication of your Legends and Lore roadside marker. We send greetings from Syracuse as you unveil this marker that tells of the local lore surrounding Spook Hill. At the Pomeroy Foundation, one of our main initiatives is to help celebrate the community's history. We do this by offering grants for roadside markers and plaques nationwide, as well as several other history-related initiatives, such as the Historical Marker Day, which is hosted annually on the last Friday of April. We feel strongly that markers help educate the public, encourage pride of place, and promote historic and cultural tourism. Under this mission, my dad, Bill Pomeroy, who is the founder and trustee, has been passionate about history since his childhood. He has fond memories of riding in the car with my grandfather and seeing historical markers that they would stop for and read together. I don't know, I never rode around with my grandfather. In 2005, when my dad established the foundation, he made funding historical markers a priority. He learned that New York State had stopped funding markers decades ago and left it to the communities to raise funds on their own. This was the impetus for the foundation's first marker grant program and later became the springboard for several more programs. Today, with this Legends and Lore marker, you recognize the place name lore and eerie tales surrounding Spook Hill Road. For your collective efforts in obtaining this marker, we send our appreciation to the Wappingers Historical Society, community members, and town officials. We would also like to thank our state partner, New York Folklore, which helps to vet our Legends and Lore's application from the Empire State. From all of our dedicated staff and trustees at the Pomeroy Foundation, congratulations on your Legends and Lore marker. Warm regards, Darren Pomeroy. How did Spook Hill get its name? In the late 1800s, horses hitched to a wagon or a buggy were the way folks traveled to get from place to place around here. A short way in on this road from Myers Corners, there was a small hill right down there on that corner. Nearby, actually, is the old Horton House. The hill used to be much higher. It was lowered over the years, and of course, when the development around here was built, it was flattened out completely. But that is the hill part of the name. Now keep in mind, there were only about 4 or 5 houses on this narrow dirt road. There were no electric lights on telephone poles, so at night it could be really dark. Way back then, there were some very shiny flat stones on the bank of that hill. Some say there was even fluorescent moss on those stones. And on a moonlit night, the moonlight reflecting off of those stones would spook or frighten a horse passing by. I'm told this could easily happen because it doesn't take much to spook a horse at night, and sometimes they would run away after they had been startled. Therefore, local folks would refer to that spot as Spook Hill, and eventually the road was named after that place. By the way, some years later, because some folks didn't think that that name was dignified enough, they had the name of this road changed to Park Lane. Fortunately, it was changed back to its original name in the 50s. So there you have it, Spook Hill Road. I think Bill, you would like to say a few words? We thank the town for installing it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So the Wappingers Historical Society has become an integral partner with us here. In recent years, I would say even more on the town side. Obviously, from the village standpoint, the Wappingers Historical Society has always been embedded within the village. But here we are in the town. Of course, Beth chose a full moon weekend to highlight the Spook Hill story, which we greatly appreciate. It's an honor to stand here on a property that continues to evolve, and now you're part of this, right? Shout out to Randy Ross. Where's Randy Ross? Who has really worked nonstop through thick and thin, through COVID, through challenging weather conditions, through 42 inches of rain this year instead of the normal 7 that we get during the season, to continue building upon this park. And now we see the result of the hard work of the committee, the Friends of Spook Hill, the town of Wappinger. Over a number of town boards now have been involved with providing support to this project, and most notably the mural that just basically appeared over the last few weeks. And Randy, I think I found you in the mural. The tree over there. I'm just wondering where I am. But as we continue to build upon this park and it continues to meet its ultimate mission, these historical plaques, which Joey and I have talked about, the Pomeroy Foundation over the years. We have identified locations throughout the town which we can hopefully partner with the organization on in the future. But this right here is going to really complement the work that's being done on this project. So a round of applause for Beth Devine, the Wappingers Historical Society, and the partnership that we have.
Joey, would you like to, Joey Cavazzini, this is our town historian.
Today we're part of history, and when Beth had jokingly said that she never rode around and read historical markers with her grandfather, I did with my father. Growing up in this town, as many of you know, I had a love and passion for history, and driving around Wappinger and Fishkill and most of the Dutchess County and seeing these historical roadside markers, they stand the test of time. They tell the history and the legacy of those who came before us. And I mean that when I say today we are part of history, because this marker will now stand through generations and generations to come. It's also only fitting that we recognize the name of this spooky street a few days before Halloween. And with that, I'd like to thank Christina Ungar, our amazing administrative assistant from the Wappingers Historical Society, Beth Devine, our board, our volunteers, for all their work in obtaining this grant from the Pomeroy Foundation to have this historical marker here. I'd like to thank our friends in labor from the town of Wappinger Buildings and Grounds Department for installing this marker here today, as well as our friends in the town of Wappinger Highway Department for finally filling in this median, which has been talked about for many, many years. So very happy to see that filled in as well. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy, busy weekend to be here and celebrate history, legends, and lore. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call up Will Tatum, who is our county historian. Welcome, Will.
Thank you very much, Ben. All right, so we'll see if I can project over the road noise here. So, of course, I agree with all of the wonderful remarks that have been made so far. The Wappingers Historical Society is amongst our strongest and most achievement-filled here in Dutchess County, so it is always a pleasure to come here to Wappinger and to work with Beth. I thought I'd offer a few brief remarks on the greater significance of the achievement here. So today's Legends and Lore marker is only the second that has gone up in Dutchess County. For those who perhaps are not aware, the normal Pomeroy historical markers, securing one of them is a tremendous feat because the Pomeroy Foundation literally wants primary source, so made at the time, documentation for every word that goes on that marker. That's difficult enough when you're talking about a building or a person that has left behind, some level of paperwork to document what they did and when they did it. When you're talking about a local story like the one we are commemorating today, the level of effort goes even higher because you have to document that story being told, something that was probably more likely to be an oral tradition than something written down in tax records, land records. You might get lucky with a map that says Spook Hill Road. So this is quite a tremendous achievement, not just for the town of Wappinger and the Wappinger history community, but for the entire county of Dutchess. So on behalf of a grateful county community, I want to thank all of you here in Wappinger and Beth and Christina for making this achievement on behalf of Dutchess County.
They going to introduce you
Before we unveil, I just want to mention again, as Will mentioned, there is so much history in our town and the surrounding hamlets, and naturally most of it is very factual, as Will and Joey will attest to, but we have our legends and lores, and that's the fun part of history. As Will said, I think we are the second Legends and Lore sign in Dutchess County. So, if any of you in our local area have heard of a legend or a lore that you think is worthy and that we can sort of attest to its accuracy, please let the Historical Society know, and we will apply for another grant, and hopefully we will have a number of these legends and lore signs throughout our wonderful town. So Bill, if you would like to come up and help, where are you, Bill? Help unveil, and then after we unveil, number one, there's lots of refreshments that we would love you to partake in. We don't want to take them home. And number two, after we unveil the sign, before you go over for the goodies, I would love to have a picture of our board, the Wappingers Historical Society board, and the town board come up, and Will, you can come join us, in front of the sign. And Taylor, I am so sorry. All right, come on up.
Thank you.
This Taylor is representing Emil Beeman.
Good morning, everybody. So it's days like today where we have to really stop and remember the historical significance of those symbols of road signs such as today. So I'd like to give out a huge thank you to Wappingers and all the residents here in Dutchess County. I'd like to present the Wappingers Historical Society with the certificate of merit. Thank you very much.
Okay. I hope I don't sink. One, two, three. Once a dirt road that passed along a rocky hillside, the eerie glow of moonlight reflected off rocks, spooked horses traveling past.
with the sun.